No, no viene inglés ya, pero okay. My son doesn't have a job. He's 3, but if you ask him whether he's going to work today, he'll either look at you dead serious and say, "Yeah, I'm going to work." Or he'll pause, think about it, and go, "No, just play and race." The other day he looked at me and said, "Dad, the sun is still there. It's just not on our side of the world." 3 years old. And I remember just stopping because he's not just being a curious kid. He's wired to understand how things actually work. That curiosity, it's the most underrated business skill on the planet. And everything I'm doing as a dad right now is making sure I don't accidentally train it out of him. If you're new here, I'm Zues Ordaz. I'm 29 years old. I've spent the last 11 years building businesses, a barbershop, a salon, a marketing company, and now a YouTube channel that earns me a doctor's salary. I'm not a parenting expert, but I am a work from home dad raising 2 kids while running companies. And the most important business I'm building right now is happening at my dinner table. This video isn't a lecture, it's what I'm actually doing with my 3-year-old son, the things I'm planting now so he doesn't have to spend his 20s unlearning what I had to unlearn. Let's get into it. One thing I've noticed about my 3-year-old son is that he never stops asking questions. How does that work? Why does that happen? Can I try? As a dad, that's something I never want him to lose. So recently, I let him pick classes on Skillshare. He picked Watercolor 101 with Priya, the Sketchbook Fillers Club with Dylan, and Sculpture with Stephanie. We grabbed materials we already had around the house, sat down together, and followed along. And honestly, it was eye-opening. Priya is a top teacher specializing in loose watercolor, florals, and botanicals. Her work is deeply inspired by vibrant colors and her lessons are just beautiful to watch. Then you've got Dylan, who's based out of Ohio and is an incredible illustrator. Her whole mission is just to inspire you to fill up a sketchbook, journal it, and then pick up another one and do it all over again. Seeing my son engage with artists like that, learning technique, but more importantly, just creating. It changed how I was thinking about the learning process itself. It reminded me that learning isn't just about output or utility. Sometimes it's just about the act of creating. That's what I genuinely like about Skillshare. It feels like real people sharing real skills, not a corporate tutorial. The instruction is clear, step by step, and visually high quality. And there's something for literally every niche: creativity, business, design, AI, film, marketing, photography, all of it, all skill levels, all ages. Whether you're learning something on your own or sitting down with your kids, it's worth having. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, but it's something I'm actually using with my own family. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a free 1-month trial. Link is down below. So okay, next, the why behind the why. Zion knew the full alphabet before he was 2. He can spell his name, my name, his brother's name. And I want to be clear, we didn't drill him. No flashcards, no forced sessions. It happened because he wanted to know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, U, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you see what daddy? And then, mommy. No, this is daddy. Oh, okay, I love you. Hey, found it. Yes. That's what curiosity-driven kids do. They're not interested in something until they're completely obsessed with it. STEM kits, Legos, guitar, cooking with mom, throws himself into it all. Not because we scheduled it, because we created the environment and got out of his way. And here's where it gets interesting. The kid who won't accept because I said so, that's the same person who grows up asking, why does this process work this way? And what if we did it differently? Curiosity doesn't just build knowledge, it builds innovation. So what's the move as a parent? Stop answering every why with a fact. Flip it back. Ask them what they think. Let them reason. Let them be wrong. Let them work it out. You're not teaching them the answer. You're teaching them that asking the question is the skill. Next, I'll explain how I'm teaching my 3-year-old about business without him even knowing it. So my grandparents own a convenience store, and my 3-year-old son has been going there since the day he was born. And I want to be clear about something. He doesn't have a job. He's only 3. He shows up to see his family, he runs around, he plays. Half the time it's just pure chaos and he just wants to race through the aisles. But when great grandpa is stocking shelves, he wants to help. So he helps. And what's happening in that environment without anyone planning it, without anyone sitting him down for a lesson, is that business is becoming normal to him. He's watching real transactions happen. A customer walks in, grabs a drink, pays, gets change, gets treated with respect, walks out. The drink is now theirs.
Are you buying groceries?
That cycle, value exchanged for money. He's watching it happen hundreds of times. It's just becoming part of how the world works for him. My grandfather, he's in his 70s. He still stocks shelves, still sweeps, knows customers by name. He raised all of us to never feel like we're above any task. And that skill, being in service, being in touch, being able to genuinely put yourself in someone else's shoes, has helped me more in my career than anything I have ever learned in a classroom. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You don't need a convenience store for this. Set one up at home. Snacks, play money, a toy cash register. Let them buy things. Let them sell things. Make money something they touch and interact with, not something mysterious that adults only talk about behind closed doors. Because here's the piece most people skip entirely. I sit down with my son and I use real physical dollars to walk through examples. Not an app, not a worksheet, real money, real conversation. And what I'm teaching him isn't just, you need money for things. He already knows that. What I'm teaching him is this. You don't have to trade your time for money. I'm 29 years old. I'm making a doctor's salary making YouTube videos. There are people making even more than that doing toy unboxings. I had to spend years unlearning the idea that success meant a prestigious career, a specific degree, a specific title, a specific salary. Zion is 3. He doesn't have that rule yet, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it never takes root. The framework is simple. 3 buckets. Spend some, save some, invest some. The amount doesn't matter at this age. The habit does. The understanding that money is a tool, not a mystery, not something you only get by trading hours of your life. That's the foundation. Next, I'll talk about some things I had to unlearn personally. I'm not raising my sons to be above hard work. My dad and grandfather proved to me every single day, you show up, you do the work, and you never act like any task is beneath you. That work ethic is a non-negotiable, but I'm not raising an employee either. Most people who build something start as one. That's fine. That's how you learn systems, how you learn people, how you figure out what problems actually need to be solved. But the goal was never to stay there. I had to unlearn that you need a prestigious career to make real money. I had to unlearn grow up and be an adult. I had to stop caring what people thought about me me making videos, building things online, chasing something that didn't look like a real job. And honestly, some of the best moments of my life came from going back to the things I loved as a kid. Hobbies I dropped because at some point they stopped being cool. Things I thought didn't fit who I was supposed to become. That's a very different thing. Raising a kid who questions the rules before those rules ever become assumptions. I'd rather start that conversation at 3 than at 29. This conversation gets a lot deeper as they get older. The examples change, the lessons evolve, but the foundation, it starts now. Let them ask why. Put them in real environments, a store, a project, something you're actively building at home. Teach them that money is a tool, not a mystery, and never let them grow up believing that they have to choose between working hard and being free. It's never too late to start, but the earlier you start, the less they'll have to unlearn. My job isn't to make him listen to me, it's to be worth listening to. If this gave you any ideas or value, hit the like button and subscribe. Share this with a parent who's out there building something while raising kids at the same time. I'd love to hear in the comments what's one thing you're teaching your kids about money or business, even if they're young, even if it's small. Drop it below. This is Zeus Ordaz. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.